There's a hole in it. Let that shit go. It's really
It
hilarious.
has lots of holes in it.
Holy shit.
What's your name? Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Dwight Hahn.
Amazing.
Is that all you want to know?
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
That's the end of the interview. Where did you grow up?
Manchester, Connecticut.
Oh, what was that like?
Nice.
It was nice.
Little rural town.
Did you always know you'd get married and have kids one day?
No.
No?
No.
What did you think? Anything?
I didn't think about it.
You didn't think about it? You were just living in the moment? That's good.
I always liked to be where I was.
That's awesome.
Still do.
I like that.
This can go all night, right?
What?
This.
Yeah.
Because I like just to be where I am.
It's cute. What were you like in high school? Were you popular?
What's popular?
You tell me. I didn't go to high school.
I think people liked me. I think, I was involved with a lot of things, so a lot of people knew me.
What were you involved in?
Swimming.
You were a swimmer.
I was an AV geek.
AV?
Yeah, like audio visual. Like we showed movies and ran the, back then it was videotape machines. And, if a class had to show something, we brought the equipment so that they could show the movie or video or training.
So like an old school tech guy.
Tech guy. I was the tech guy.
Okay. And people liked you.
Yeah, generally.
Why do you think that is?
That they liked me?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I guess I was pretty likable.
Okay. Did guys like back then have close friendships?
Not so much.
Not really? So like what would you say your closest friendship was growing up?
Probably my friend Leo, the handicapped young man that I
Okay.
worked with a lot since 7th grade. So 5 years or so, I helped him and we were close.
What was that like?
It was rewarding, to give. I was always kind of a giver and a volunteer type of person and did that for all those years. Went to Easter SEAL camps sometimes for a few weeks in the summer as a counselor. And probably we spent a lot of time on the phone and I tried to brighten his day.
Nice. Where do you think you got that like giving spirit from?
Probably my dad.
Your dad?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is your favorite thing about yourself?
Maybe that I'm a little funny.
You take pride in your humor.
I think so.
Yeah.
Maybe a little too much.
What brings you joy?
Time with mom.
Yeah. That's cute. What makes you mad?
Not as much as things used to make me mad.
That's awesome. What's something that still makes you mad?
When I'm expecting something to happen and it doesn't happen.
Okay.
That's always been kind of the root problem of my getting mad.
Okay.
So if I'm thinking a package is coming today, I might get mad that it didn't come until tomorrow.
You're a little disappointed.
No, mad.
Mad, okay.
Yeah, I don't get disappointed.
Okay. That's so interesting. Why?
It jumps right to mad.
Okay. What is something you used to like that you grew out of?
Fishing.
Why?
We don't have a boat. But I didn't like it enough to want to invest in getting a boat and maintaining a boat. So I, by virtue of getting rid of that, gave up the love of fishing and boating.
That makes sense. Okay. What are your love languages?
I like to be appreciated and words of encouragement. So if
Okay.
somebody encourages me for doing something, say I work the kitchen and do dishes or make a meal,
I want to be appreciated.
and somebody's thankful for that, that showing appreciation, I think is the top one.
Okay, that's cool. That makes sense. Yeah.
And I love to serve others. So those two kind of connect. It was serving them, and they were thankful.
Right, if you had to sum up your belief system in a few sentences, what would you say?
Probably the biblical concept that God causes all things to work together for good.
Okay. This is a good simplification. There you go. What was it like working on the games? What is the games for the people that don't know?
The pinball, we had a pinball machine and video game business for several years. That's how I put myself through college.
That's really cool. How long did you have that?
About 7 years.
Wow.
So we gradually grew, adding more games pretty much every year, buying a few more. We would put the games in different bars. Yukon, we had a lot of games up at Yukon.
Who's we?
My dad and I.
Okay.
It was early on in the video game craze. The only video games people knew were the kind you hooked into your TV. First game was called Pong, and it was a ping pong game, and you moved this pathetic paddle up and down and blocked the ball from going in your goal.
Pong.
Pong.
Pathetic paddle.
We still have it in East Hartford.
I believe it.
Anyway, so that's how it started. That's how it started. We bought 5 of these machines, put them in 5 different bars in the Hartford area, and they started making boatloads of money, and we bought more. Then they stopped making boatloads of money. People got bored. Once you figured it out.
You figured it out.
You figured it out. You met the match. Like
There's no
games
new
today
challenges, yeah.
always get harder and harder and harder, and you can buy solutions and that sort of thing. This was one machine. It did one thing, and once you figured it out, you stopped dumping money in it.
Wow.
So we literally almost went bankrupt because the company went bankrupt that we bought them from.
Oh, wow.
They basically frauded all the people that got into the business. They had given a written guarantee that if you didn't make so much money, they would buy the machines back at original cost. So we thought, risk-free, why not try it?
But they went bankrupt.
They disappeared off the map. We flew to California. They went out, like disappeared overnight.
Wow.
51 weeks or 50 weeks into the agreement. It was a 1-year guarantee.
Wow.
So we decided to make lemonade out of these lemons, and we started, instead of folding, bought other games. And that's when Space Invaders came out, and eventually Pac-Man came out, and Galaxian, and Centipede, and Asteroids, and all these new technology games. And we just started growing, and had about 35 or 40 when we ended up.
Wow.
And
So when you say 35 or 40, these were spread out into different locations. It wasn't like you had an arcade.
no, right. We never had an arcade. I worked in one once, but no.
Okay. Do you think that sparked some of your entrepreneurness?
No, that happened in first grade.
Really? What happened in first grade?
I used to sell Pop-Tarts on the playground.
Toasted, right?
Yes, that's right. Mom would buy the box of Pop-Tarts. I lived very close to the school. So before school, I would toast a whole box of Pop-Tarts, put them back in the foil bags, put them in the box, and sprint to the school. And
What's the most money you made on a day, if you can remember?
well, I don't know. I charged $0.25, I think, a Pop-Tart, and there's like 8 in a box, so a couple bucks a day.
Yeah.
But I would not have to buy the product. So it was all profit. My dad wasn't thrilled about it, but my mom got a kick out of it. So she would provide the product. And then I got into selling Frosted Flakes. That was a cool one. I would bring a whole box of Frosted Flakes. I would sell them dry in the classroom, or I would take the box into the cafeteria at lunchtime. I would go to the lunch ladies that sold the lunches, and I would buy like 6 milks and ask for 6 bowls and spoons. And I'd walk the aisles, and the kids that got the crappy tuna sandwich and wanted Frosted Flakes would pay me 50 cents for a bowl of Frosted Flakes. So I sold typically $3 worth of Frosted Flakes a day and $2 worth of,
Amazing.
right,
So, aren't those two of your favorite foods still?
still are. Man.
Pop-Tarts and Frosted Flakes.
That's it. I had a Pop-Tart today.
Amazing. That's
Yep.
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh
And then
my
then we Mom and I ran a good humor truck one summer. That was a fun job.
Speaking of mom, if you could tell a short version of how you met and
No.
ended up where you are today.
No.
Okay, then how did you meet? Just like
Just in high school.
Like the first time tell me the first memory you have of seeing her.
I'm pretty sure it was at a cast party.
You're pretty sure? I know you know the story, but what do you remember of the first time you saw her?
Well, I saw her in school,
Okay.
but don't remember the first time I saw her. That was your question?
You don't remember? Mm-mm. Okay, so when do you remember being like, oh, that's Carla Hahn?
Long after we first met.
You don't remember?
Mm-mm.
Oh my gosh. Amazing. Okay. What were your views on how a family should be structured before you started a family?
Never thought about it.
Never thought about it? Okay. Did you ever have an ideal number of kids you wanted?
No.
No.
0 for quite a while.
For a while? How many kids do you have?
7. 9 if you count the miscarriages.
Right, right. That's wild.
Yeah.
Was being a dad what you thought it would be?
Yeah.
What is being a dad?
What do you mean?
What did you think it was going to be?
Providing for the kids and doing fun things with the kids and doing what you had to do to make it work.
Yeah. Okay. What is the most valuable lesson you've learned as a parent?
Be ready to jump in if they don't pop to the top when you throw them in the pool.
Don't let your kids drown.
Yeah.
That's the most valuable.
If I had that question in advance, I might have come up with something a little pithier, but
Pithier. What was it like raising 4 girls and 3 boys?
a lot.
A lot. It was a lot.
Yeah. Constantly thinking about like plans and food, a lot on food, you know, how to make sure everybody was eating good and that we had what we needed.
Yeah.
Bought a lot of bulk food.
Yeah. Sam's Club.
Lots and lots.
What?
I could go on and on about that. And when the boys were teenagers, milk.
Milk.
I think our peak week was 13 gallons of milk.
13? I love that you remember that.
I would go to the store twice a week and buy 5 or 6 gallons of milk. Not even think about it.
What did we even use milk for?
The boys would just chug it. Glasses of milk. They just drank milk. Cereal.
So weird.
Had it with cereal. Tons of milk.
I forgot about the milk era, honestly.
Plus we used milk in things like pudding and some of our dishes we would cook used a lot of milk. I don't know. Milk and potatoes and rice and pasta. Biggies. And meat. We were not shy. We weren't skimpy on meat.
Yeah.
I had my dad and mom grew up in the Depression and they had to ration meat. And I purposed to never have our kids feel that way.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No.
They didn't go hungry. Nobody went hungry.
This is true. Who did you go to for parenting advice?
We were sometimes involved with various study groups, Bible study groups, parenting groups, and had relationships with other young parents. So I would say we bounced ideas off those relationships.
So communities that you were like in and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Okay. If you could give your past self parenting advice, would you have anything to say?
I translate that question to say, what would you do different? And I think we were very intense. I was very intense, very fear-based parenting, I would call it. And I don't know that that was the best approach and as kind and loving as I wish we were in hindsight.
Yeah. I think that's well put.
Okay.
Okay. What are some things people have said to you when they hear how many kids you have? Anything funny?
Oh, yeah. Are you Catholic? Because Catholics don't do birth control.
They straight up are just like, are you Catholic?
Yeah. 7 kids? Are you Catholic? I mean, just like that. I mean, some people wouldn't hold back.
Oh my god. Mom told me a funny one.
Yeah?
She said someone said to you, you know you can put a TV in the bedroom.
Yeah, yeah. That's good. We never wanted a TV in the bedroom.
And now you have 7 kids.
That's it.
Okay, how did you decide to homeschool us? Because I get a lot of questions from people when they hear I was homeschooled about like why my parents chose that. When you both were very traditional public school experience,
Right.
and then you homeschooled 7 kids. So like, how did you decide that?
We had a couple of family and friends that homeschooled, and we were intrigued by the idea. And when we started to go to different seminars and conferences, we liked what we saw in the kids of the families that had been doing it a while. So when it was still pretty new to us, and we were still saying we're doing it was a 1 year at a time decision. It was not a we're doing this forever. Every year it was kind of a recommit, revisit, and so we kind of followed our gut and wanting to replicate what we saw in families that were doing it.
So what were those like reevaluating conversations like?
Sometimes it was, are we still up to this? You know, it was a lot of work, mostly for Mom, and it was a lot to take on. And we had to say, can we do this again this year? And later on, it became more, what do we have to do this? Because we knew we didn't want to turn.
How did you know you didn't want to turn to the public school system?
A lot from people that I knew at work that had real nightmares with their families in the public school system. Kids just turning to bad relationships, drugs, pregnancies, suicides. There were just a lot of examples of a road I didn't want to go down.
Yeah, like not a positive environment for your kids.
Well, it wasn't for those people, and maybe it could have been for ours, because we did have what I would say a good foundation for everyone, but that didn't always translate to good choices and positive outcomes.
Yeah. How did you provide for all of us so well?
Well, for the most part, I always had a really good job.
Were you ever scared you wouldn't be able to provide for us?
I did get laid off 2 or 3 times throughout my career, and you always live in a little bit of fear during those times that, you know, what if I don't come up with something else that's as good? And one of the transitions I did get set back a lot of money, you know, salary-wise. So there was some fear there, but we were pretty faith-based livers, and, you know, we knew that God would provide for our needs and for what we really needed to do, and He did.
That's pretty cool. Tell me about your professional career as far back and as detailed as you want.
Okay. When we sold the video game business to this guy, he requested that I stay working for him for a month or 2 so that he was comfortable and knew what he was doing. And it turned out he wanted to hire me longer term than that and wanted me to keep doing it. So
You must be a Hahn.
so for about a year, I continued in the same business working for him. And all of a sudden, a year later, he decided to move out of state and sell it all. So I was forced to do something different. And I answered an ad in the newspaper for a sales job. Well, I got the job, and I worked there for a year.
Were you good at it?
Yeah, I was like the rookie of the year the first year. I was there 2 years.
Okay.
And I made more money in those 2 years than any college kid was making at that time. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But about the time Eric was to be born, actually Eric was already born, and right after that I decided I needed to get out of this business. There were some ethical things that they didn't do that didn't sit right with me. And so I basically quit on a Monday morning. I went in and said I'm done.
So this sales job you had, when you first got it, were you already married?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, got it. So you walked in one morning and you quit.
Right.
And then
Like
what happened?
Eric was 2 months old,
Wow.
and I had no idea what I was going to do.
Wow.
But I knew I had to leave.
Yeah. I've been there.
So Mom's dad encouraged me to learn how to type and use word processing. He said you can get a job, if you know how to do that, you can get a job almost anywhere. So I went to a temp agency. Said I want to get a job. They said, all right, well, can you type? I go, yeah. In no time I had an assignment. I was working for a company called Kelly, and their big thing on TV at the time was they called the typists Kelly girls, because most typists were female.
Okay.
So I was a Kelly girl.
Okay.
So that assignment ended with Kelly, and I signed up with another agency that's no longer in business, and they sent me to the Travelers Insurance.
Wow.
So I worked at Travelers as a temp for about 60 or 90 days.
And at this point, what was your education level?
Oh, I had a bachelor's from UConn in business.
Okay. Got it.
Yep.
So now you're in Travelers,
Travelers
as
as a temp.
a temp. Okay.
Well, when the assignment came to an end, the manager wanted to hire me, and I said, okay. So I went, and I then worked full-time at Travelers.
What did you do at Travelers?
I was a secretary.
Oh, wow.
Started it as a secretary in this financial group.
Okay.
And then I got a new job there. This group at Travelers was a small subsidiary of Travelers, a company that was trying to create a new idea with banking and insurance all integrated into one business model.
Interesting.
So anyway, I worked in that multimedia group for 6-7 years, I don't know. And then the whole thing went belly up, and they called us into the cafeteria. Sorry, like 300 of us. This is our last day. We decided to close the whole idea.
Wow.
So I looked online at Travelers. They had internal postings. And I found a job opportunity that I thought I could do based on what I'd already done there. And I picked up the phone and I called a guy named Bill Spatcher. And he answered the phone. And I told him my situation and that I wanted to interview for his opening. And he says, all right, well, how about Tuesday or Wednesday next week? I said, how about 2:30 today? And I went over and showed up in his office. And it blew him away. And he hired me.
That's awesome.
Yep. I worked for him for several years and then gradually moved up to running the call center for the Travelers Managed Pharmacy Group. I had like 25 or 30 customer service reps working for me. I was on the project that rolled out the very first desktop computers in the country. Like any business, nobody had computers. There were no such thing. And so we had to bridge the gap of people that had a typewriter on their desk to taking that away. We basically wrote the programs and we built the desktop and built the marketing campaign to convince these 500 or 800 secretaries to accept the idea. Fun project. So I worked in that group for quite some time and then moved to the pharmacy job. Bill went to the pharmacy unit and then I followed him and I managed that. And then the pharmacy job, the health division merged with another company. So I stayed in pharmacy, but was now working for a company called Metro Health. MetLife and Travelers merged together and created a company called Metro Health.
Okay.
And then United Healthcare bought Metro Health. So I worked for them for quite a while and then got let go and went to Aetna after that. And at Aetna, I was the chief of staff for the head actuary of the small group business. Like I was in meetings in the boardroom at Aetna. I knew the chairman of the board. I was involved with all kinds of high level stuff.
Yeah.
Because of this job.
Yeah.
And did that for about 8 years. And
Did you enjoy that?
yeah, it was fun. Yeah. I got laid off from that. Then I could not find another comparable job. And I was sitting on the beach in Clinton, unemployed, getting paid good money to enjoy the beach. Because when you get laid off, you get a severance. Every time I got a severance. Then I fast forward to Express.
That's my next question is how did you decide to go with Express after being laid off?
Got on a plane and went to Oklahoma and met the owner, met the company, saw an extremely impressive Christian-based company. And
I didn't even know that actually.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It says "God bless America" right above on the top of.
So you picked Express. No peeking.
I'm sorry.
I saw that.
Go ahead. What's the next question?
Unreal. So you picked Express. Are you enjoying that?
Yes.
Yeah. It seems like a rewarding job for you.
It was a lot of work to get it going. It was a lot of work, and it was not as quickly rewarding as we thought it was going to be financially. And then we just kept persevering and doing better and doing better and doing better. And then COVID hit, knocked us off our feet for 2 years, and we're still recovering. But it took us a long time to bounce back. Someday I'll have to run some reports that show how many people we gave a job to. So that's what it's all about, is helping people get money when they need another job or they need a job. And it's thousands and thousands. Helped over 250 companies. So it's kind of fun to drive around or go on the highway and see a truck go by that's one of your clients or was, And that's been great.
That's cool. What was your favorite job out of all the jobs that you've had?
When I worked at Travelers, I worked with a guy named Andre, Mike, and Chuck. 4 clowns. We laughed every day so much.
That was your favorite?
It was definitely my favorite.
Because of the people you were with?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
It was so fun just to clown around. And we were kind of in a secluded area, and every day was a hoot.
That's awesome. Yeah, I always say people can make or break a job.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever have a dream job? Like growing up or anything?
Well, growing up, I always wanted to be a cook.
Ah.
I almost went to the Culinary Institute in Hyde Park, New York, to be a chef. But even before I got done with high school, I realized chefs have a crazy schedule
Yeah.
and no time for life. And I said, I don't think I want to go down that road.
So as much as you liked cooking, you were like, not for a career.
I also really enjoyed printing. The printing press business was still a mechanical, this before computers. So I took print shop a couple of years in high school and junior high.
Wow.
I really enjoyed printing stuff, printing envelopes, return address labels on things, stationery, business cards, all that kind of stuff. Was a fun skill that I got in school.
If you could do anything differently in your career, would you?
Well, the common theme is I like where I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I've never initiated moving on to something else. It's
Except
always
for the one that you quit.
right, that's true. Yeah. But since then, I haven't. So no,
No.
I've always kind of just been I've enjoyed what I do.
That's awesome.
Yep.
How do you think your entrepreneurial spirit has do you think it's remained Because I know, like, ever since you were a kid, you were selling Pop-Tarts on the
Playground.
playground. Yeah. So, like, do you think that translated into any specific area of your life, career-wise, or like, did that kind of dwindle, or?
No, it was something I always took advantage of in my different jobs. You know, when I had different marketing jobs, would tap into that salesy kind of thing. And Express is a sales job, and basically, I'm a sales trainer or a salesperson.
Right.
Whether I'm helping my staff work with clients to use our services or whatnot. You know,
Yeah.
it's all kind of salesy, is entrepreneurial. Some salespeople don't like business, and some business people don't like sales. Express looks for people that like business and sales,
So that was you.
and that was me.
Nice. That's cool. Okay, so no peeking.
I'm not peeking. Can't see a thing.
Do you have any career or finance advice for young people listening that maybe you wish you had gotten at a young age? Or in general. It doesn't need to be something you wish you had gotten.
Yeah, take that out, and
Yeah.
then I could talk a lot.
There you go.
I between my parents and my schooling, I think I had pretty good financial advice. I would say the biggest thing would be save early. It's the most common thing people don't do, and it can make all the difference in the world longer term. The best way to do that is to spend less frivolously on things that are not long lasting. Some people will say $1 saved is $1.70 earned. So if you think about that, if I buy a $3 coffee, that's $5.10, if I did the math right, that I'm throwing away. So making things yourself, doing with less early on, and then being wise with what's left would be the way to maximize your potential. And take some risks. Invest. Those are my tips.
Those are good tips.
Beef tips are good too.
Well, what is your perspective on what it takes to be a good man?
Integrity, truthfulness, commitment.
Those are good. Do you have any relationship advice for anyone? It could be couples, friendships, this generation in general. It can be as general or specific as you want. Just, do you have any advice? Relationship advice for anyone?
Just don't get too serious too soon.
Is that for couples? Or in general?
For single people.
For single people.
Right. Like, you'll know it when you see it. So if you don't know it, don't try to make it happen.
Don't rush into things.
Yeah. Too many heartbreaks, breakups and pregnancies just destroy or deter what could have been a very different future for so many people. So basically take it slow
Yeah.
would be the advice.
Take it slow. Good advice. What's your number one piece of marriage advice?
Say what you mean and mean what you say.
That's some really good advice.
And stick to it.
Stick to it. Yeah. You can change your mind, but if you change your mind, you should say something else and then mean that too.
Yeah, I mean, just know what you committed to and stick to it.
Yeah.
And through any bumps in the road, that's always kept us grounded.
Yeah. I like that. What do you think about the concept of time?
Doc.
I'm telling you, you built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
Well, I figure if you're going to build a time machine, you may as well go big.
Not a direct quote.
No. Anyway, what was the question?
What do you think about time?
Nothing.
Nothing.
No,
You don't think anything about time?
not really. Give me a multiple choice.
Is it real?
Of course it's real. That was easy.
But
Is
like, what time is it?
that what we're talking about? Guess it's real.
But like, do you think things exist outside of time?
That's not a thing.
Doesn't God exist outside of time?
I don't know what that means, outside of time.
Okay, that's fine. What do you think this human experience is all about? Like, why are we here? What is this?
Well, I mean, God created us for His pleasure, and that's what it's about.
God's pleasure.
Yep.
Cool. All right, what is your favorite and least favorite thing about this generation?
All right, can I do it? Most favorite first?
Sure.
Medical progress.
Nice.
We're at a point in history where so many people would have died if they didn't live now and had the same conditions. So that's my most favorite. It's just being in a time when technology's flying and medical miracles are happening. Least is the political climate of today and the division that is so propagated and causing, strife everywhere.
Yeah. How was your generation different than, say, my generation?
In that negative example?
In general, any differences that you feel like you see?
Oh, well, I think there's much less respect for things in the younger generation. Like, we were raised to respect and then fill in the blank. You respected toys, you respected people, you respected manners, police, government. You didn't maybe challenge or even feel like argumentative towards any of those things. It was just what you did, and I don't think much.
Careful.
I don't think much of that exists today.
So a lot less respect as a whole.
Yeah.
Who's the funniest person you know?
Me. You knew that.
I knew that.
Chevy Chase is pretty funny.
He's a close second.
Yeah.
What is your most favorite place you've ever been? Because you've been a lot of places. Do you want to list some of the places you've been?
Sure.
Okay.
And it's not an easy answer because they happened at a time in my history where the reason it was a blast might not be the same today or for someone at a different age than I was.
Okay.
So I've been to places like Disney World and Disneyland at a young age that were a blast. I went to Copenhagen, and there's an amusement park there called Tivoli Gardens. It's still there today. A blast at that. I've been to Norway, and going on boat tours in Norway through things called fjords was breathtakingly fascinating. A fjord is a very narrow canal, hundreds of feet deep, and you're in a huge boat in the middle of it, looking straight up, just speechless.
Wow. How old were you then?
13 maybe.
Wow.
I would say most places I liked the most were places with water, like the Bahamas. So that's usually my favorite vacation place is the Bahamas. I've been there as a kid, I've been there as a businessman, and I've been there as a husband, and I've been there as a father, all different times. And all of them were great.
Yeah.
So
that might be the one.
that might be the one. I think I really would like Hawaii for the same reason. I've heard Hawaii is amazing.
You've never been to Hawaii?
Never been.
That's surprising.
It's a very expensive and very long trip, and just never did it. I went on a trip to Montana with Luke once. Whoops, I keep kicking it. went on a trip to Montana, and Montana was amazing. The mountains, the sky was really cool. There you go.
Nice.
Bermuda, I didn't mention Bermuda.
Bermuda.
As a kid, they let kids ride heavy-duty mopeds, like fast, cool motorbikes. But I was like 9 or 10 years old.
On a moped.
Oh man, we had a blast.
That's awesome.
Yes. I don't know if I'd like it as much as an adult, but.
What are your hobbies?
Hobbies. Well, I am a cabana boy.
What is that?
What's that?
A cabana boy?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's a guy who takes care of the pool and the hot tub.
Oh, yes.
Make sure everybody has their towels and make sure the chairs are clean from bird poop and make sure the patio doesn't have any leaves on it and make sure everyone's having a good time.
What do you enjoy about that?
It's combines a lot of things that I've liked over the past. So think about snow removal. Leaf removal is very similar to snow removal. And I love going from that to that. Like leaves on the ground and then no leaves on the ground.
It's satisfying.
It's very satisfying.
Yeah.
So I like that kind of activity, and it's also an act of service for those that are coming.
Yep.
That's my favorite hobby.
Amazing. Is there anything your kids have done that you wished you've done?
Anything my kids have done that I wish I had done.
Like, oh, that seemed like a cool experience. That would have been cool to do myself or anything in that area.
Well, yeah, a little bit. Kind of the concept where, a couple girls went to California and lived a while. A couple girls went to Tijuana or Texas. Eric went to Atlanta. So I wouldn't have done any of those things. And I think it's really cool that they did. So the concept of them getting to enjoy that is pleasing to me. And yet I wouldn't say I would want to have done it.
Yeah.
Because I always liked to be where I was. There's a theme here.
It's awesome. Yeah, no, that's cool. That makes sense. What are friendships like when you're this age? I.e., like, how do relationships change over time? Whether that be friendships or connections here and there, whatever.
Well, they typically, for me, are tied back to someone or a couple that you have from the past, and you pick up where you left off. So it's not like when you're younger, you're starting from scratch with people you come upon. I would say they tend to not be super deep, and that could be personal choice. But when I was younger, I think many relationships were deeper, quicker, and easier.
Why do you think that is?
I think you become more private as you get older. I don't know.
It's interesting. If you could talk to 23-year-old you, what would you say?
22?
23.
23.
Yeah, because I'm 23.
Oh. Don't get married yet.
Were you married at 23?
Oh, I don't know.
When did you get married?
23.
Why don't get married?
I don't know. I just think a little older is probably better. I don't know. I don't think I think I thought I was much more mature than I was.
Okay, got it.
So, yeah.
Cool. Is there anything you've learned the hard way throughout your life, and what was it?
That company that went bankrupt on my dad really hardened my trust in people and in things. I think I was generally a pretty trusting person, before that scam, and it probably helped me along the way to be more,
Mindful of who you're trusting.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what comes to mind.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Do you have any regrets?
Similar to the question you asked about parenting, I have some regrets that we were so rigid and not taking the time to explain why certain things were our position. I think some of the kids have expressed frustration over the years that it was our way or the highway without explanation.
Yeah.
So that's a regret that we didn't catch that and not be such a harsh and fear-based
Yeah.
parent.
No, that
so
makes
there's
sense.
regrets from that.
What qualities of your mom and dad do you see in yourself?
I think I get some of my frugality from my dad. He was reasonably frugal. And I think I get my giving from my mom.
Nice. That's like a nice balance, kind of.
I think so. I mean, I'm sure I get some of my harshness from both of them. They were harsh. So,
Intense characters.
yes.
Yeah.
So that's partly from them too.
It's a theme in our family. Intense characters.
Yeah.
What are you most thankful for in this life?
Mom.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cute. Why?
Because we love each other.
High school sweethearts.
That's
In
it.
case you guys didn't catch that.
That's right.
Oh, this is the next question. What do you enjoy most about being married to your high school sweetheart?
We know each other really well. We know how we think. We know how, a lot of things will turn out given the certain sequence of events. So there's not a lot of surprises.
Do you not like surprises?
I don't like surprises.
So you like that there's no surprises because you know each other so well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You got it.
Why did you decide to wait until marriage before having sex? And what do you think about how rare that is today?
I think we just believed it was something worth waiting for. I'm not convinced it's rare. I think there's probably a lot more people that wait than people realize. I'm not convinced it's not a media hype kind of a thing. Like,
Interesting.
I think it depends on the circles you're in, and I think it depends on your worldview and your partly upbringing, maybe, but yeah.
So you don't think it's rare?
Oh, I would say it's comparable. I don't know that I'd say there's given difference in the rarity.
Interesting. Okay. What do you want your legacy to be?
I guess that yeah, that's a tough one. To whom? It's a good question to precurse that. I think to family and,
To whoever follows after your bloodline.
kids and, yeah. So if
Yeah.
it's bloodline questioning, I would want people to be, to know they were loved, to know we did everything we could, that I did everything I could to help you get to the next good thing in your lives. So thinking of the kids. So that would be
Your legacy.
the family interests, yes. Broader than that, I don't have a very apathetic view outside of family. In other words, unless you're in a visible, notable thing, whether it's an inventor or even amazing presidents don't get remembered,
Yeah.
So it's like,
You're not stressing about it.
no,
Yeah.
no, not a big audience gonna be there anyway. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, just do what you can for those that are close.
Yeah. I like that. I think there's a lot of wisdom in that. What are you most proud of in yourself?
Well, it's bittersweet. I would say that I finish what I start, and I don't start something I don't feel up to finishing. So that causes procrastination.
Like what?
Like closing the pool in East Hartford. It's a rather daunting task and takes quite a bit of time and needs the proper weather. There's a lot of things that have to come into alignment for that to happen. And I'm not good at breaking things like that into reasonable pieces.
But you're proud that you have that quality of if you're going to start something, you're going to finish it. Nice. When have you felt most proud of me?
When you decided that you were ready to move out, I thought that was very strong and brave.
Nice. When have you felt most loved by me?
When you came back
Came back.
from when we weren't communicating,
Yeah.
didn't know if that would ever happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was big.
Yeah, it was. Did you ever think we would have the relationship we do today?
Think or hope. I always hoped we would, and had the faith that we would, but had the doubt that we would, because I knew how it wasn't deserving. So there.
So there. Are there qualities in you that you also see in me?
I think you're very firm in your way. So I think when you know what you want, you stick to it. And I think that's a byproduct of how I am in some ways. Does that make sense?
I think it does. Yeah. What has it been like to watch me grow and change over the past 2 to 3 years?
It was pretty hard when you had the breakup with, what's his name?
We don't need to say his name. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That's probably on the top of the list. I felt bad for that time.
It was definitely a very rough time.
Right.
I kind of lost myself for a while. Could you see that?
Oh yeah.
What was that like?
Hard,
Yeah.
but kind of helpless, you know?
Yeah.
You had to kind of ride the wave yourself.
Yeah. How did you know that? As a dad, you're just you see your kid in that situation, but it's you know that it's just something they need to experience.
Right.
What is that? How do you
You just know.
you just know? It's damn, this sucks. Yeah. So, what do you think about where I am now as it compared to that time?
Great. I mean, you've put a lot of stuff out on Instagram or YouTube channel that have demonstrated your personal confidence and fulfilling a clear vision. You know, you seem very driven and in a good way. So definitely the opposite of the fears and depressed and lost and what am I doing, you know, even though there's a lot of unknown still.
But it's a different energy.
It's not a fear, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm happy.
Me too. Do you ever imagine my life in the future? What do you see?
No, I don't do that.
You don't do that. He likes being where he is, okay? Do you think I will have kids one day?
I don't know.
No?
I don't know.
You don't know. If I would, how many do you think I would have?
Oh, I don't know. Probably just a couple, 2 or 3 tops.
Why?
I don't know. I have this perception that none of our kids would want a huge family for various reasons.
That's fair. All right, when's my birthday?
Well, it's either May 10th,
Oh my god.
July 10th.
Yes. May 10th is May 10th is nobody's birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right, this is the last question. Are
Okay.
you ready?
No.
What do you want to say to Dwight and Emily 10 years from now?
You better be in touch.
We will be. We will be.
Good.
Thanks for doing this interview with me.
Sure.
I made you laugh. You always make me laugh.
The end.